Oh, look at these handsome devils. So these two are two male lions. They're about 6 years old. They're brothers. Zuberi is on the left and Araali is on the right, and they are pretty special boys. I know I say that about all the cats, they're all special, and it's true, they are. I think someone commented on one of the videos that I'm basically like every single cat, we love them the most, and that is true. We love them all the most. But these two have a really amazing story because they kind of had a rough start to things. When these guys were about 5 months old, they were started having some mobility issues. Raleigh started limping, and then Zuberi had an incident where he couldn't stand up and walk. And very long story short, we took them down to Texas A&M University, and they were diagnosed with a condition called wobbler syndrome. And wobblers is common in animals that grow very fast and very large. So horses, large breed dogs, they were given a very poor prognosis by the A&M team. They actually recommended that we go ahead and euthanize them because they wouldn't have a good quality of life. But we have certainly dealt with animals from all kinds of situations and with all kinds of conditions, and we don't like to give up so quick. So our executive director and founder Heidi brought them back home, and we started treating them very aggressively in many different ways. So they got vitamin supplements, large quantities. They got vitamin A, vitamin D, calcium. They were young enough at the time and practically immobile at the time, so they got massages. They also got treatments with a device called the Assisi loop. It is like an electromagnetic pulse that you put on joints in areas that are inflamed and painful, and it helps reduce inflammation and pain. So every time that they would take a nap, they'd get one of those on their hips and shoulders and backs. And they also had the sunroom built for them. If you remember Raven, back a couple segments ago, the 23-year-old black leopard, that room was built for these two. And it was built the way that it was as a sunroom with as many windows as possible so that they could get the natural vitamin D from the sun, so that we could open up windows and allow fresh air to get in. We lined the floors with mattresses so that they could move around and not be on cold, hard floors and hurt themselves. It was climate controlled, and they also got a TV because, again, for a while they weren't, neither one of them was really able to stand up on their own and walk. And so, 5-month-old lions are cubs. They play and they run and they wrestle and they have all this energy, and they couldn't do anything. All they could do was basically lay there as they were getting better, and so they were very bored. And cartoons helped alleviate that boredom a little bit. They were fascinated by cartoons. It's the colors and the movements and the sounds. They just were captivated by it and would actually sit in front of the TV and watch cartoons. So after a couple months of very aggressive therapy, they were both up, not just walking, but running and playing. And truly, after a couple months, you would never know that anything had ever been wrong. However, wobblers doesn't just go away. It doesn't just disappear. So they will always have this condition, and we have to do things that make life a little easier for them and really protect them from regressing. So one of the things that we've done in their enclosure, you will see there is nothing really tall for them to climb up on, and that is by design so that they don't go up really high and then jump off, and all that weight and pressure, if they were to jump off, could hurt their backs. They also, behind them, the downstairs is their indoor area, and I will show that to you guys in a little bit, but they do have an indoor area that can be climate controlled, so they go in there when it's really hot or when it's really cold. But I mean, truly, they haven't had any real issues since they were really young, so we're very, very fortunate that they But boys, be nice. Okay, well, you're gonna get a little Wild Kingdom reality here. Good segue. Good job, Ra. Actually, that really is a good segue into what I was going to talk about next. So one of the questions that we get a lot is if these brothers are going to stay together for the rest of their lives. Sorry, got dust in my throat. The answer is yes, they will. I had to come get a drink of water because it's super windy today and I have about a pound of dirt and grass in my throat, and these boys got hot and wanted to come inside. So I will try to pick up where I left off. I was going to tell you about lion prides and males' role in the pride. So this is how a pride works. Typically there are 1 to 3 males that are at the lead of the pride. A lot of times they are related, they're brothers. Sometimes they're not, but most of the time if there are multiple males, it is a group of brothers. And the rest of the pride are females who are all related to each other, and they're cubs. When cubs are born, they stay with their family, and then male cubs are kicked out. So the dominant males of the pride will kick out younger males when they hit around puberty. They then become nomads for the next couple of years until they are fully mature. Then their single goal in life is to take over or form a pride of their own. Now, a lot of times, if brothers are kicked out of a pride together, they will stay together, and they will stay together as they take over another pride or start their own pride. Single males will sometimes join up with other single males when they're nomads and form what's called a coalition, and then take over another pride because there's power in numbers. When they take over another pride, they are kicking the current male or males out. Sometimes that just means running them off. Sometimes that means killing them. And that is one reason why male lions don't tend to live as long as females in the wild. Male lions only live to about 8 or 10 years in the wild, where females live a little bit longer. They both, in captivity, can live into their early 20s. So a male lion's mane is a pretty amazing thing. So a mane is actually caused by the hormone testosterone. And the more testosterone that is being produced, the bigger and darker the mane. That is a signal to other males of dominance, but it is also attractive to females. So females will be a little bit more attracted to the males with the larger, darker mane. So if you guys took notice of Zuberi's here, Araali's over there, Araali has the bigger, darker mane, and he is the dominant one in the pair. What you saw earlier, that little quarrel that they had, that was not mating, that was dominance. That was Araali telling his brother that he is the boss, still is the boss, and will always be the boss. Although Zuberi challenges him sometimes. Zuberi doesn't always take that. And Zuberi will give it right back to him sometimes too. But that mane, it serves that purpose of, a signal of dominance and testosterone levels. It also helps protect their neck a little bit, so if they do get in fights with other males, it serves as a little bit of cushioning to protect their, weak spot, their neck, one of their weak spots. Now, if you neuter or castrate a male lion and remove the testes, which is where testosterone is produced, their manes will fall out. So because Araali and Zuberi just live alone, just the two of them, and we have no intention on ever putting them with a female, there's no reason to fix them. But in the past, when we've had males and females living together, then what we typically do is give the male a vasectomy instead of castrating him. And that way, he still produces testosterone and he keeps his mane. Because animal behaviorists have actually seen male lions that have been fixed and lose their manes exhibit depression. And if you think about it, they rely on that big, massive hair to show dominance, to attract females, to protect themselves in fights. So it's a pretty big part of who they are. But the mane also has a downside. Well, I don't know if they would call it a downside. But a lot of people talk about how lazy lions are. And lions, listen, they can sleep 23 hours a day. They are master nappers. All cats conserve energy as much as they can because they expend so much energy when they're hunting. So they're gonna sleep and rest and not do anything as much as they possibly can. But male lions especially have gotten kind of a bad rap for being extra lazy because not always, but typically the females in the pride do the hunting. Now, they're smaller and sleeker, which makes them, it's easier for them to hide in tall grass. These guys have this big, huge mane, which makes them a little conspicuous. So they're not as stealthy as females are. Females work in a team. They're a little bit faster than males are because males are generally larger. Although if they are hunting a really, really large animal, a lot of the time the male will jump in there to really lend his strength and his weight. But generally the females do the hunting, but the males have a really important job, and that's to protect their pride, their family. They protect their females and their cubs, and that's what they do. So I guess since we're in here, I'll tell you a little bit about this room. So I showed you when we were outside the building that housed their indoor area. So half of this downstairs area is their indoor area. And they have a door they can come in, they can come and go whenever they want. It's climate controlled in here. If the weather gets really bad, if it's really severe heat or really severe cold, we will lock them in here. And again, that's due to their wobblers. Really hot temperatures, really cold temperatures can affect them a little bit more than it would other cats. So
They're protected in here. If something were to ever happen to them, if they needed to be monitored, this is an easier way for us to do it, that they have access to this area. They also have cartoons. They have not grown out of cartoons. They are big, young men in their prime, fully adults, but they still watch cartoons. More importantly, we get music on this TV as well, and music has proved to be really a really good tool that we can use. Zuberi specifically, when we have to put them in here and lock them in here, when we have to go and clean their enclosure, he doesn't mind being in here. He comes in here on his own, but he doesn't like that gate shutting behind him. He doesn't like to know that he's locked in here. So when we have to lock them in here to clean, we turn on his favorite music and it calms him down. Took a little while to figure out what his favorite kind was, but it turns out that this guy likes New Age. That's his favorite music. Believe it or not, we have used music as a therapy for several other animals, and they all have their likes and dislikes. We had one white tiger that was a big fan of classical. We had another white tiger that hated classical, would actually get very stressed and agitated when certain kinds of classical were on. He had another favorite kind of music, and I can't remember what it is now, but it was really weird and obscure, but it worked. It calmed him down and it provided him some comfort. But things like that, we're not afraid to use some unusual methods to benefit the animals. As long as it benefits them and doesn't hurt them, then, we'll try just about anything. We've tried CBD oil. When, a ways back we talked about Zara, and Zara came here with a broken leg, and she had to be confined so that her leg would heal, and she was so full of energy and so hyper that we were really afraid that she was going to hurt herself and her broken leg would never heal. So we gave her CBD oil, and it really worked on her. Music, like I've talked about, aromatherapy, we've used that. The sissy loops that we used on these guys when they were younger, of course, it'd be a lot harder to do that now. And then, of course, the cartoons and movies. If you're curious, I will not tell the story now because it's a long story, but it's a great story. So we had a snow leopard 4 years here. He passed away years ago. He was 14, and he had very bad respiratory issues. Not uncommon with snow leopards in warm climates. An animated movie called How to Train Your Dragon played a very important role in Arctic's life and therefore our lives. It really, truly, no joke, actually saved his life several times. If you want to hear more about that, then you can go to our website and we have information on there that you can learn about Arctic and how to train your dragon. It's quite amazing. It was a very interesting thing. But yeah, the cartoons actually really work with them. Something about cartoons that they are very interested in, and it calms them. So anyway, this is the indoor area, and we've also got bathroom, food prep area. We've got some beds in case volunteers ever need to come and stay the night. So this is our volunteer area, Araali and Zuberi's house. Do you guys want to say goodbye before I leave? Huh? Zubi? Nope. Not doing anything. Ra, you want to say bye? Ra? No. Okay. It's nice and cool on that concrete. All right, I'll see you guys in a second.
This is our last stop for today. This is the balcony of our Safari Suites. So we have 2 rooms up here that people can rent out and stay in. Of course, we're not doing that right now. We're not allowing anybody
to stay here while care is closed due to the coronavirus, but these are pretty amazing. It's a pretty neat deal. You have windows in there that look out over Araali and Zuberi, and then you can have breakfast up here, and you can look out over the beautiful countryside. And there's the lemur's enclosure over there, our mountain lion Lakai, that's his enclosure. This is Sydney and Ross's enclosure. You'll meet them, all of those guys, next time. And then there's our new enclosures that we're building. I will also tell you about that next time. But if you want to learn more about the safari suites and think about maybe coming and staying when things go back to whatever normal we will have, then you can find information on the website. I am not going to show you the inside right now because, full disclosure, we have solely been trying to take care of the cats during this time, and since we're not having people stay here, we have not been keeping up with like making sure that the rooms are kept up and cleaned and fixed up properly, so they look like a mess right now. There's blankets and pillows everywhere, and it's just not cute. Don't judge us. We've got our hands full, but there's some very nice pictures of what they normally look like on our website. So check it out if you're interested, but that is going to be it for today. Yeah, this was second to last one, so next time will be our very last segment of our virtual tour. We thank you for joining us and coming along this far. As always, check out our website for more information. Follow us on social media to make sure you're staying up with all the updates. And please stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of others, and we'll see you next time. Bye.